Hello again. Today I'm going to film my July book haul, and I have a massive pile here right by me. So without further ado, and making this video way too freaking long, let's get started with my July Book of the Month box. And if you don't know anything about Book of the Month, it is a monthly subscription that costs only like $14.99, and you get one free credit, and you get to add up to 2 books for $9.99 a piece. So without further ado, I'm going to show them off. Here they are. My book of the month was The Shadows by Alex North. This is his follow-up novel to The Whisper Man, which I do have on my shelf over there. I haven't got to it yet, but this one, it deals with like urban legends and almost kind of like reminds me of like Are You Afraid of the Dark in a way. And this is one of my most anticipated horror books I want to read really soon. Can't wait to get to this, and I love this cover. So, The Shadows by Alex North, very respectfully. The second book I got on Book of the Month was The Anomaly by Michael Rutger, and the way this synopsis sounds, it sounds really awesome. It's basically Indiana Jones meets the X-Files. This takes place in 1909, so it's kind of like a historical fiction horror book, and it has something about like a cursed artifact or something, but this definitely sounds like a really awesome read. Can't wait to get to this one as well. That's The Anomaly. The last book I got from Book of the Month is not an older book per se, but this was a selection in October of last year. And unfortunately, I have to say this is the only female author I have this month, and that is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This is a fantasy book, and I think it has something to do with like either knights or Vikings. I'm not really sure, but this is the first of the series, and sounds pretty good. So I'm probably going to give it a try here really soon. I'm not really that big of a fantasy reader, but I'm adept at like meeting new genres, so I'll give this one a try really soon, hopefully. Look at all these books I got. But yeah, that is my July book of the month. So I think I did pretty good this month. The next books I have are from Barnes & Noble. I have quite a few here, so without further ado, let's get started. The first book I got is a book I actually got yesterday. Yeah, this is one of my newest books, and that is Awakened by, yes, you read that right, James S. Murray and Darren Wearmouth. James S. Murray is, of course, Murr on Impractical Jokers, and I didn't know this until I heard about his newer book called Obliteration, which is the conclusion to the Awakening series. This follows like a new subway system that gets built in New York, and all the construction awakens something, and yeah, that sounds really, really good. It's probably going to be very, very supernatural, and it almost kind of like reminds me of the FX show called The Strain, so I'm definitely interested in this one. The other two in the series are The Brink and Obliteration. I actually almost got Obliteration myself yesterday, but I'm going to try this out really soon, so that is Awakening by James S. Murray. And here's his picture to tell you that I'm not lying. That is Murr from Impractical Jokers. The next book I got from Barnes & Noble is The River by Peter Heller. And in this one, it is about two men who go on like a weekend excursion, and they come across like a couple people who are in trouble, and they investigate. And I think this kind of sounds like Deliverance meets a murder mystery, so this sounded like really, really good. It's kind of like a wildlife survival story, so I will definitely give this a try soon. And it's not that big, so The River by Peter Heller. Next up, I have the biggest book I got this month, and this is a classic apocalyptic book. It is in a comparison to The Stand, and that is Robert McCammon's Salon Song. I've seen quite a few people read this on the Hale group, so I thought that I'd give it a shot too, but this is an apocalyptic book, and I don't know much about it, but I think this deals with like nuclear war, so definitely sounds interesting. It is a gigantic book. It's almost 1,000 pages, so yeah, get to this when I can, and it'll be my first delve into Robert McCammon. I did not know this book was that old. This book came out in '87, so Swan Song. Up next, I have, well, these next couple books are new Stephen King editions, and I got one right here, and that is Mckee. Finally got a chance to get this one. This is about a man named Edgar Freemantle, and he moves down to Florida after losing his arm in a construction accident. It's a really, really devastating injury to him, and he takes up painting, and I think his paintings come to life or something, but I heard that this is a very, very underrated book, and it definitely sounds like it's going to be a cool read. So, Mckee by Stephen King. That pile is getting huge, and I got a lot more books on this list. The next book I got by Stephen King was Full Dark, No Stores. This is a novella collection. This collects 1922, Big Driver, A Good Marriage, and Fair Extension. And like I said, this is a novella collection. It's one of the last novella collections I got. The only novella collection I'm missing, believe it or not, is Hearts in Atlantis. So I have another novella collection down here. I'll get to that soon, but this kind of like deals a little bit with murder domestic violence and like a divorce, and yeah, all these stories sound pretty interesting, so can't wait to dive into this one whenever I get the chance. I think what I'm doing right now, I shared in my future Stephen King TBR, is I'm going to read all of his novella collections and short story collections in order of publication, because I'm going to start different seasons here really, really soon. I'm also going to do Skeleton Crew really soon, so this will come up when I get the chance to get that far. So, Full Dark, No Stars. The next two books are companion novels, and I cheated, but I added this one in here because I got it last month. But I'm going to show The Talisman and Black House. Now, I don't know much about these two, but apparently The Talisman tells the story of Jack Sawyer. He's a kid who takes care of his dying mother. She's dying of cancer, and he goes into like this parallel universe called the Territories. And I heard that this has a major connection to the Dark Tower series. And this one sounds really, really good. So, The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. There you go. Black House is the sequel. This is another book I just picked up yesterday, and this takes place about 20 years later, and this also features Jack Sawyer. He is now a retired homicide detective, and he comes across like this crime, and he has to go back to the Territories. So we'll see what happens in both of these books. I really, really like these editions as well. So they're both huge, by the way. So I'll get to these whenever I can. I'm almost done with my Barnes & Noble haul here. So the next book I'm going to pull up is Paul Tremblay's Survivor Song. This is a new horror book. It deals with like some kind of virus contracted by saliva. That's about these two women. One is pregnant and one is her doctor, and they just fight to survive. I don't know much about this. I haven't read any Paul Tremblay, but I do have Cabin at the End of the World on my shelf, so I hear really, really good things about that one, so I might just read both of those books like in a kind of like a binge-a-thon, so can't wait to get to this one, and it's not that big, so I should be able to conquer it. So Paul Tremblay's Survivor Song. The next book I picked up, and this was another book I picked up yesterday. It's another horror anticipation that I'm very interested in, and that is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And this one, it is about 4 Native American men who grow up and they meet up with each other after a brutal incident that happened in their childhood. And I heard that this might be a pretty freaky novel, especially with the deer on the cover there. So definitely interested in this one. Again, it's not that big, so I can probably like knock this out really soon. So The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Oh yeah, and that is my Barnes & Noble haul. So the next 3 books I got on Amazon. So pull them up. First book I want to talk about is Ferocious by Jeff Strand. This book sounds frickin' incredible. It's about 2 people who, well, it's actually like a man and a little girl, and the girl is like the niece of the man, which would mean that it's her uncle. So anyway, they get stranded in a cabin in the woods, and there's like some kind of like zombie plague that wipes out all of wildlife, as you see the undead bear there. And yeah, this has me written all over it, and I bet this will be a very, very cool read to get to soon. So Ferocious by Jeff Strand. Next book I got on Amazon is by the same author, and this one sounds pretty terrifying as well, and that is Blister. And this one, it is about I believe he's a cartoonist, yeah, and he comes across like this very, very badly disfigured woman. She's like in her early 20s, and he tries to befriend her or something, or she becomes a murderous imp. And yeah, I don't know much about this, but I know more about Ferocious, so this one sounded good. The cover looks pretty freaking horrifying, and I bet it'll be a really, really cool read too. So those are the 2 books I picked up by Jeff Strand on Amazon. The final book I picked up on Amazon is a book called Slowly We Rot by Brian Smith. Weird to know that I know of Brian Smith. He works with me, but it's not the author. But anyway, this is a zombie novel, but it's not about zombies. It's about the aftermath, about this man who takes refuge in like a cabin, and he just basically fights to survive. I heard that this might be a very, very emotional horror book, and it's kind of like hard to get through because the title itself could be like a double entendre, where it shows the main character slowly rotting, and how we rot in our psychological mind. This sounds really, really interesting, and it gives like a Wild West vibe to it. So I definitely can't wait to get to this one. It sounds really, really good. So I'm expecting to enjoy these 3 Amazon books that I picked up. So that's my Amazon order, and I have 4 more books to show off. These last 4 books came from vstock, which vstock stands for vintage stock. If you haven't heard of it, they sell movies, books, TV shows, CDs, a lot of stuff. And I did not know that they had a massive book collection. So without further ado, I'm very, very proud of these last 4 books. So here's my first one. Yet another brand new horror movie novel that I'm really looking forward to getting to sometime this year, hopefully. That is De-Evolution, a first-hand account of the Rainier Sasquatch Massacre by Max Brooks. He is of World War Z fame, and that is a book about the zombie apocalypse. And I saw the movie with Brad Pitt. I thought it was decent, but I bet the book is really, really good. So I haven't read World War Z yet, but give me anything with like a Sasquatch massacre, I am definitely on board with this. This sounds incredible. I definitely can't wait to get to this soon. So apparently this has something to do with like Mount Rainier erupting, and the Sasquatches come down and wreak havoc on the town. So that is De-Evolution.
Oh, jeepers.
The next book I got, and all three of these books I'm so freaking glad I got. These are all first edition hardcover Stephen King novels. Well, one is a novella collection, and the first one I want to hold up, I got this yesterday as well. That is Lacey's Story. I have been dying to get this, and I'm very, very glad they had a first edition copy, and this is in pristine condition. Only cost me $12.99. That's why vstock might be like one of my brand new homes for bargain hardcover hunting. So anyway, this tells a story of a woman named Lacey. I believe her husband died, and it just shows like the grief that she has been going through. I heard that this is a very, very underrated novel too, so can't wait to get to this. So that's Lacey's Story. And I want to show off this without the dust jacket. So really cool looking book without the dust jacket. So that is Lacey's Story by Stephen King. Down to the nitty gritty. I got 2 more books to go. The next book I picked up, also from vstock and first edition hardcover, Bag of Bones. I know what you're thinking. I know a lot of people are not necessarily fans of this one, but I definitely couldn't pass this one up. But yeah, this tells the story of a man who recently lost his wife in like a car crash, I think, and it just envelops him in grief, and he starts seeing her, and yeah, that's pretty much all I know about this one. But on the back here it says a haunted love story. So this one sounds interesting, but I know a lot of people don't necessarily care for this one, but I'm willing to give it a try. So Bag of Bones. We made it to the final book I got in this haul, and that is 4 Past Midnight by Stephen King. One novella collection I have been dying to have. I've had this in my hand for, God, I don't know how long, but I finally just caved in. I also got this for $12.99 at vstock. This is a novella collection that collects the Langoliers, it collects the Library Policeman, Secret Window, Secret Garden, and the Sundog. So the only one I know about, well, the only two I know about are the Langoliers and Secret Window, Secret Garden, but definitely glad I scored this edition because it even has the man himself on the back. So those are all the books I got in July. And my God, it was a really, really big month. This is probably like the most books I've ever gotten in a month. And if you've seen my May-June book haul, a lot of books on there too. And this is all in a single month. But I'm really, really glad I got a lot of these books. A lot of these are like horror, so I definitely want to check them out as soon as I can. So I forgot to show this in my previous video, but the next two books I want to read that have Stephen King and Joe Hill vibes to it are
Oh, jeepers.
Revival by Stephen King, and this is about a minister who has the power to control electricity by music, and this sounds really, really good too. So this is going to be my main August Stephen King book. Can't wait to get to it. And I have Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, an aging musician who obtains this heart-shaped box that can grant his every wish. And this one sounds really, really good too. So I can't wait to get to both of these in August, amongst other books. I have quite a few other books on this shelf that I want to pick out too. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. So let's end this video on a high note, and I'll edit both of these videos and have you enjoy it. So if y'all have obtained these books, read them, let me know what you think. I definitely am open to more horror author suggestions. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. Yeah, but I'll stop talking and I'll send you guys on your way. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and look forward to my July wrap-up and my movie review of Secret Window. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh yeah, stay awesome and keep reading.